everyone, TeriGigi here. I'm here today to tell you part of the story of us going to Colombia recently. I'm going to tell you the coming and the going, or the going and the coming home stories, because they're too long to tell with the other video. I'm working on it now, downloading some footage. It was crazy. I can't wait for you to see the city and everything, and so that's coming up. But today I'm going to tell you the story time of our journey to and from Cartagena, Colombia. Here was the plan. Some of you might wonder why we went. It was because my nephew was getting married. Some of you saw him in my last Texas vlog. He was flying a drone, and I had mentioned that he had been in Colombia and he just showed up here and blah, 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 and he's all over the map. And yes, he met a girl and fell in love, and they were getting married. So we immediately decided to try to make the trip because we knew not a lot of family could do it. So Scott and I got our frequent flyer miles out. We cobbled a trip together. So what it amounted to is this. We would leave the apartment, drive 2.5 hours to Atlanta because the Atlanta airport had so many more choices in flights, and that ended up being a good thing. And then we were going to get to Atlanta in the evening, fly to Miami, spend the night, go back to the airport the next morning, just stay in an airport hotel, go back to the airport in Miami the next morning, meet up with my niece and my mom, and we would all fly the next leg to Cartagena together. Got home from work, we drove to Atlanta, no problem, went to the airport, and Scott had planned, we got there 3 hours before our flight because we wanted to drive and have a little bit extra time in case something happened. So we arrived 3 hours before our flight time. And while we were driving, we got a message from American Airlines that the flight was running an hour late. So now we have 4 hours, right, to kill. But that was fine because Scott, my husband, believes, and I used to fight this on him and I don't fight it with him anymore, he believes the vacation should start at the airport. And we should always get there early, be really chill and calm, have a nice meal wherever, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and casually go to the gate. That's what he wanted to do. So we were hungry when we got to Atlanta. We decided to zip through security because we had TSA pre-check coming and going both ways. It was wonderful. And go find a spot for dinner because we assumed there would be somewhere nice to eat on the other side of security. Because with Delta there is, but not with American. We didn't know that. We get over there. There's nothing, y'all. We're on this one little part, and there is nothing but like a food court, and it had hamburgers, pizza, salad, and then there was a little bakery in the front. So we go over, we decide we gotta eat. We didn't want to go back through security to a nicer place, so we just settled. Scott got in line. It was packed, y'all, totally packed. I found a seat with another guy. We sat and chatted a while. He was fixing to leave, so Scott was going to take his place. We're at the end of this long table. Scott's in line at least 45 minutes, 30 minutes in line, and then he has to go over here in 15 minutes waiting on his pizza and my chicken Caesar salad, which is what I asked him to order me. He finally comes back, 45 minutes, no salad. They're out of chicken. He said, so the lady told me to tell you to go back over there and order something else. Back in the line that he had just stood 30 minutes in. It was horrible. So I go in the line, I stand. This took about 20 minutes. I go up to the thing. I said, I have my receipt, my husband, blah, blah, blah. I need a chicken Caesar salad, but there's none, so I guess I'll get a pizza. She says, hold on. She goes over and she talks to this lady, and the lady says, no chicken. Then the woman disappears into the back. She was gone about 10 minutes. Everyone's looking at me like it's my fault. And she comes out and she's got some chicken in her hands. Well, in a piece of paper or something. She takes it over. The woman slices it. She gets a Caesar salad out of the clear, plastic container. The woman crams the salad, the chicken in there, closes it. I go sit down, no dressing. I have to go back, wait again for the dressing. Come back, and my first bite of the salad was a little bit, tiny bit off. But I couldn't put my finger on it. The chicken was amazing, but there's something off. So I thought it was the dressing. Long story short, I ate about 3/4 of this salad. And we went and we sat back down. Now the plane has changed to a 10:30 departure, which means we're not going to get to Atlanta, to Miami, until 12 o'clock, midnight. So I call the hotel in Miami, and I said, don't give up our room. We will be there, but it's going to be after midnight. And she said, well, I need to inform you that the free shuttle to the hotel only runs until 11 o'clock. So I looked at Scott and he said, we'll just get an Uber or a taxi or whatever we can find when we finally get to Miami. Plane gets delayed again. They tell us there's weather somewhere and the pilots are caught and they're flying more pilots in and those pilots are having a problem, blah, blah, blah. So now the plane is going to leave at 11:30 and get to Miami at 1:30 in the morning. Okay, that's fine, whatever, as long as we get there to catch our next flight to Cartagena. As we're sitting there, now we have like 4 hours to wait till 11:30. All of a sudden, y'all, okay, I don't know how to say this delicately, so you're going to have to use your imagination. I've heard of this happening to people, but it has never happened to me or Scott. I'm sitting there, it was about 30 to 45 minutes after I ate the salad. Something happened. And I knew I was in trouble. Something digestively happened. And I jumped up and I said, oh my God, where's the bathroom? Where's the bathroom? And Scott said, I think it's down there, really far. I grabbed my suitcase and rolled it with me. I had on a long shirt and I kept pulling the shirt down because I didn't know what had happened, but I suspected some horrible thing happened. Suffice it to say, I get to the stall and I change clothes. Part of my clothes. I come back and Scott says, what the hell happened? It was so bad, y'all. It was awful. But it was, okay, we're fine, I'm fine, I'm gonna be fine, I'm gonna be fine, you know. And I was feeling really ill. But nothing else happened with that. At about 10:30, the 11:30 departure changed to 11:30 a.m. Well, the whole place goes ballistic. Well, not everyone. A certain group of people went off on the poor gate lady, and they don't have anything to do with it, right, at the desk. She walks off, and she says, when y'all are ready to talk to me civil, I'll be back. And she leaves, and she walks down the corridor thing. And Scott spies her and sees that he was standing back from this mob. It was a mob, y'all. It was terrible. It was very not right. And he sees her go to the next gate, which was empty and there was nobody there. And she's just standing at that desk and she's like cooling off. So him and this other guy walk over casually. Well, next thing I know, she's booked us a hotel for free. She's given us meal vouchers. And we're leaving on the flight the next morning at 9 or something like that. Or 7. It's something. I don't remember. So that all happened. We spent the night there, and on the shuttle to that hotel in Atlanta, we're still in Atlanta, I chatted with Expedia online. They called the hotel in Miami, and even though it was a non-refundable hotel already paid for, they agreed to refund our hotel. So we were lucky. That was very lucky. So I'm telling Scott, ha, ha, ha. We actually saved money because we had to stay in a hotel anyway, but now it's free from American and we're getting a refund from Expedia, so it was all good. We go to sleep, we get up the next morning, we get on the plane, everything's fine. We get to Miami, we find my mom, we find Katie, we're all together, we get on the plane, we're going to Cartagena. I'm feeling great this morning. I'd had coffee, I had a bottle of water. I was still drinking water on the plane. I had had lunch on the plane and a little snack or something. I don't remember. So I was fully fine. About Cartagena was about 3 hours. So about 25 minutes before landing, I had been sleeping. I had been leaning my head against Scott. There was 3 of us. There was a guy. It was a full flight. So it was a guy, me, Scott. I was asleep leaning against Scott. And out of nowhere, y'all, I popped up and I knew I was going to be sick. I knew it immediately. I'm fixing to get sick all over the place. I grabbed the air sick bag and in 1 second, I've never grabbed an air sick bag in my life. I grabbed the bag. I'm horrified. This is happening so fast. Scott goes, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be sick." And he goes, "See if you can get to the bathroom." Because we were only 4 rows from the bathroom. So I get up. The guy gets up and moves. I'm going towards the bathroom. And I can see the bathroom door. And when I reached for it, the bathroom moved. The whole door like shifted to the side. And I was just like this, and I don't remember what I did. Last thing I remember is I was going down, like I had absolutely no control over my body, and I went down, and I remember hitting my head really hard and landing on my rear end, which I thought had a lot of fat, but evidently not enough to cushion the blow because it was so painful. But that's the last thing I remember, and I blacked out. I don't know how long I was out, but when I started to wake up, my eyes were not open. I could hear kind of people talking, but I wasn't back yet. I could kind of hear, and I could tell there was something on my face, and I was like, and then I just went back, kind of went down, and then I came back a little bit, and I kind of opened my eyes, and the 2 flight attendants are chatting, and Scott, I can tell he's kneeling next to me, to my body. My body's been stretched out straight. I have a pillow under my head, and my legs are up, and the flight attendant was sitting at this little jump seat, and my legs were in her lap, so to elevate them. I opened my eyes, and there was a napkin over my nose. And there was this weird smell. And I thought, what is that? What is that? And I thought, did they give me smelling salts? So I laid there for a while before I could really talk. And then I kind of asked him what happened. And then I got quiet again. And then I took the napkin away, and they said, "Oh, we soaked it with vodka to wake you up, to try to get you to come to." And I've never fainted like when I fainted when I was a kid. I used to faint periodically, and I just crumple, and I wasn't out for just but a second. This was totally different. I never did get sick, praise God, because if I had thrown up, that would have been worse than what happened to me. Another flight attendant came back, and he said she can be there till 10 minutes till landing. So I knew I couldn't get up at that moment. I knew I couldn't walk. I knew. You just know these things. In your head, you know I can't walk. So I laid there a little bit longer. I was contemplating if I could sit in the jump seat, or one of the flight attendants said you could just sit here. But I felt like I would fall off because, there's no arms or anything to those. So I started thinking if I could get to my seat, I could just sink down in my seat, and I think I'd be okay for landing. So I told Scott, I think I can make it. So we go back to the seat. Oh, and the way Scott found out is it happened so fast. That man was standing, getting back in his seat when he heard me crash, and he turned around and saw me, and he told Scott, he said, "I think your wife just fell down." And Scott takes his earphones out. "What?" He said, "I think your wife just fell down." Scott's like, "Oh, brother." So he goes, so that's how he got back there. Long story short, I got to my seat, we landed, and all I'm thinking in my head is Katie had told us over and over how long immigration takes. Like it can take at least an hour to get through immigration. And I'm picturing me on my feet for an hour. I don't know how I'm going to do it. So we're ready to get off the plane. My mom finds out what happens. Katie finds out. They're like, "Oh my God." So we're getting off the plane. Picture, Scott has both of our roller boards. He has both of those and both of our other carry-on, my big giant purse and his bag. So he's got all 4 bags. We get to the exit of the plane, and it's steps. No jetway. I'm now in Colombia. I make it down the steps. Scott said when we walked across the tarmac to immigration, I was weaving all over the place. And I knew my legs were like jelly, like they weren't functioning properly. So we got in line. I started to feel better and better, but I was really weak in my legs. Like Scott said, for the whole rest of that day and part of the next day, he made me walk right in front of him because he said I was weaving. Don't know why. I'm fine now, by the way. So that was my introduction to getting to Cartagena. Now let me tell you about the return. And by the way, after that, I was a little off for a day or two. Then I got better and better and better. I wasn't sick. I don't know why I passed out. I have no idea. But I did read online that if you're about to pass out, sometimes nausea overcomes you. So that's what's kind of weird, is that I was asleep and the nausea woke me up to tell me you're going to pass out. So if I'd have just sat there, would I have just passed out there? I don't know. So, and I did have some headaches and I do need to be checked. And by the time you watch this, I'm sure I've been to the doctor on the way home really quickly. We do our whole Cartagena thing and we stayed 2 days after everyone else left and went to a different part of town, which was really fun and cool. So we're flying home alone. So we get from Cartagena to Miami, perfect. Miami to Atlanta, perfect. Landed in Atlanta about 10:30. We were going to be home about 1:30. We get to our car, which was kind of a deal, but we end up finally getting the shuttle to get to the car. Got in the car, checked out of the parking garage, got 2 free bottles of ice cold water, pull around, and we're getting on the freeway. We're in my Fiat, and we blow a tire. The tire goes out. The tire is dead. It's flat. We're on a 4-lane freeway, but we're still really close to the airport, and there's all these barrels, like caution barrels or whatever, construction barrels. So Scott managed to get the car on the side in front of the barrels. So at least people would see barrels before they saw our car. We turned on the flashers and we just sat there because we thought, what are we going to do? Because let me tell you another little thing. When we bought the Fiat, it did not come with a spare tire. Not a baby tire, not a spare tire, nothing. It came with a can of that spray stuff, which was useless for us because the tire was split. So Scott says, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I said, wait a minute. I said, I just changed our insurance like 2 or 3 months before so we could have our house and our car on the same insurance. And it came with free roadside assistance. So we dug, didn't have an insurance card in my glove box. We don't know why, but we did have a receipt of where we paid our insurance. And that had a phone number. Y'all, I didn't even know the name of the company. It's some Alabama company, right? So we call. It takes forever to get the situation handled. And they said the tow truck will be there within 75 minutes. All I'm doing is sitting there praying, y'all, because these big trucks are zooming past us. And in my little car, we would have been creamed. Finally, this guy comes. And it wasn't like he was going to tow it. It was one of those things, a flatbed, where you put the car all the way up on top. So in my mind, he was going to put a new tire on the car. And Scott goes, no, that's only if you have a tire. I go, well, doesn't he carry tires around with him? Scott goes, no, he would have to carry all kind of tires around with him. And I'm dying, y'all, because now I said, we're going to have to spend the night in Atlanta. Scott goes, yeah, you're right. So 1 a.m, now it's probably midnight. The guy's driving us over to this other town, like a little suburb, and it was 11 miles from where the car was broke down. So he puts the car on the thing. We get in this giant, I've never been in a truck that big in my life. The windshield was at least 4 feet tall. I have no seat belt because I'm in the middle in this jump seat thing. I'm hanging onto Scott. The guy's super friendly, blah, 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 blah. He drives us, and they had told him to take our car to Pet Boys. So we drive off the freeway, we go around and around and around. We have no idea where we're at, no idea. We get over there, and when we get to the Pep Boys, the parking lot's packed. And I looked at Scott and I said, there's no way. We're going to be here all day tomorrow waiting on the car to get fixed. While we were in the car on the freeway, I had looked up the Pep Boys they said we would be sent to and found a La Quinta 1 mile away. So we asked the tow truck guy, would you mind dropping us at the hotel? It's 1 mile. And I showed him on my phone. You could see it was 1 mile. He goes, oh yeah, that's over there where they closed the mall down. And I'm like, close the mall down? That doesn't sound good. And I said, is this neighborhood safe? He goes, well, it's probably going to be all right for you. And we're like, oh God, oh my gosh. So, drop the car off, pull out my giant bag that has been expanded, y'all, now, because we checked them coming back. We carried them ongoing, but we checked them going back because I had expanded it too big. We're shoving them behind the wrecker seats. We get over to the La Quinta, and I can see that if he pulls in under the underhang, I can see it's going to be difficult for him to turn this giant truck around. So I said, just stop here at the side, we'll walk in. It was real close to the entrance. So he says, okay. So he's pulling our bags out from behind the thing. It was a nightmare. And he kind of acted like he normally didn't give people rides places. So I gave him $10 when we got out for the 1 mile ride. I said, thank you for your trouble. And he was really excited. So we push our bags and we go in, and we go in the lobby. There's a gentleman at the desk. And he's giving us the side eye. He's looking like this. He was black, and he had really funny hair, but he was really friendly later. But in the beginning, he was not liking us. I don't know why. At this time, I don't know why. And he's looking at us like this and everything. And we walk up, and we looked presentable. I had on a Hawaiian dress with cute sandals and nice luggage and a good purse. And Scott had on nice khaki shorts with good shoes and a button-down shirt. I mean, we looked normal. But this guy keeps looking like this. Like that. So we walk up, and Scott goes, we need a room for the night. Now, mind you, it's 1:30 in the morning. He goes, we need a room for the night. And I already looked it up, and it was $79. And the guy, Scott said, a king if you have it. And the guy just says, okay. And he's typing forever, y'all. He's typing. And we're looking at each other, and he's looking at us, giving us that look. And he says, well, what are you folks doing over here? And we said, well, we needed a hotel. And he typed. And then Scott kind of told him what happened. Well, slowly he warmed up to us because he found out we were from Alabama. And then he found out that we were stranded. And then I look over, and I see this dining room, and I said, oh, do y'all have free breakfast here? And he goes, yes, we do. I'll be up at 5:30 fixing your breakfast. I'm going to have eggs, sausage, waffles, oatmeal, muffins, donuts, toast, yogurt, cereal, 2 kinds of juices. He listed every item, boiled eggs, scrambled eggs. He listed every item they were going to have. It was so funny. So then, as he's finishing typing still, I said, so it's going to be $79, correct? And he goes, oh, no, ma'am. I gave y'all the upgrade. It looked like y'all wanted an upgrade. It looked like you wanted an upgrade. It'll be $107. And I was just like, and then when he's finishing up, he goes, well, I don't mind telling y'all that when you came around that corner at 1:30 in the morning, 2 white folks without a car, I just knew you were coming in to kill us all. And we're like, he goes, 2 white folks over here in this neighborhood coming in with no car at 1:30 in the morning. I knew you were going to shoot me dead. You're going to kill us all in this hotel. He was completely serious. And I guess the look on our faces, he goes, I don't mean no disrespect. But I guess I just watched too many horror movies. And we're like, yeah, we're so horrible looking. Oh my God. So then he gives us 1 key, and we go upstairs, and everything was fine. It was clean. It wasn't the nicest hotel I've ever been in, because even when it says non-smoking, if it has been smoked in the past, you have to change the wallpaper, the carpet, the bedding. You have to completely paint the room. Obviously, they had not done that. It smelled like smoke, but we got used to it quickly because we fell into the very soft bed. And I worried about bed bugs just for a moment, because when he said all that about us killing him, I said, well, are we going to be safe here? Because if he's expecting that, what do we expect? And he said, well, it should be okay, because we're across from the Macedonia church and they help the homeless over there, so the police like them, so they give them lots of drive-bys, so thus we get a lot of drive-bys, so you should be fine. And we're just like, whatever. We get up the next morning, or Scott gets up early, gets to the Pet Boys at 7:15. It opens at 7:30, and the guy waved him in. And Scott said, now this is 1 mile, but I was still 1 mile away, but I was still in bed. Scott got an Uber. So the guy, Scott told him the situation, and he goes, oh, we love people from Alabama, but we hate your football team. And Scott says, I really don't care about the football in Alabama, to be honest with you. And the guy kind of laughed, and he says, well, it's going to be a while because you've got a lot of people in front of you. And Scott says, okay, I'm just trying to get back home. And the guy says, no problem. So Scott was going to catch the Uber back to the hotel, have breakfast with me, and wait for the guy to call. Next thing he knows, our car's being pulled in. The guy fixes it first. 30 minutes, done, signed, sealed, delivered. And he looks at Scott and he said, sir, I just wanted to get you home. I know you've been through a lot. By 8:30, Scott picked me up and we were off to the house. So that's my story of coming and going and all the craziness of getting sick, passing out, breaking down. We had a great trip. Please come back for the video that I do want to be in the next 2 or 3. So yeah, that's it for my story time. Talk to you later. Bye.